Welcome to the Speak English with Aisell podcast.
Your journey to English fluency starts here.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So I want to start with a specific fantasy.
Okay.
I think pretty much every single person listening has had this one at some point. It's the dinner party fantasy.
Yes.
I know this one.
You've been grinding away at a new language, maybe for 6 months, and you picture yourself at this sophisticated dinner party.
A glass of wine in hand.
Exactly. And you're just effortlessly discussing, 18th century philosophy or global economics. You're witty, you're fluent.
It is a beautiful image. It's also usually the exact moment where language learning goes to die.
Right. Because the reality is, you get to that party or you land in that country and someone asks you a really simple question.
Something like, how is your morning?
Yeah. Or where's the bathroom? And you just, you freeze. You realize you can discuss 19th century geopolitics because you read that chapter, but you can't ask for a fork.
That is the classic fluency trap. We tend to equate fluency with complexity.
We think to sound smart, we have to use these big academic words. But the sources we're looking at today are flipping that entire concept on its head.
Okay.
We have a stack of materials arguing that true fluency doesn't start with history books. It starts with your toast.
Your toast.
It starts with brushing your teeth. And it definitely starts with that awful energy slump you feel around 3 Euro PM.
The toast and teeth method. I like that. So to guide us through this, we have two very different sources today.
Very different.
First, we've got a comprehensive transcript from a program called English Unleashed, hosted by a guy named Tom. And let me tell you, this thing is granular. It's all about slow listening and detailed descriptions of the most boring parts of your day.
It's extremely zen. It's all about the mundane details of life.
And then on the absolute other end of the spectrum, we have a production guy for a show called Speak English with Aisell.
And that one is not zen.
Not at all. It's high octane. It's loud. It's about role play. It's about fake it till you make it.
It really is a fascinating clash of styles. But what brings them together for our deep dive today is this shared mission.
Right.
Moving you from just studying a language to actually living it. The goal here is to explore how narrating your own life, literally scripting your boring Tuesday, might be the ultimate hack for internalization.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here, though.
Go for it.
If I want to be fluent, why on earth should I waste my limited brain power narrating how I brush my teeth? That feels basic. Shouldn't I be pushing myself with, harder material?
That's the intuitive reaction, for sure. But let's look at the cognitive science behind this. What the English Unleashed source calls the philosophy of the real.
Okay.
When you're trying to speak a new language, you're usually fighting a two-front war in your brain.
A two-front war? What do you mean?
So front one is content. What do I actually want to say?
The idea itself.
And front two is form. The grammar, the vocabulary, how do I say it?
Okay, so I'm trying to invent a story and translate it at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your brain just overloads. It creates this cognitive bottleneck.
Yeah.
But when you narrate your daily routine, the content war is already won.
Because it already happened.
Right. You woke up at 7 balls. You're tired. You're eating eggs. The facts are indisputable. You don't have to be creative.
So you're removing the cognitive load of creativity entirely.
Precisely. Because you aren't panicking about what to say, your brain frees up all this bandwidth to focus entirely on how to say it.
The intonation, the verb choice.
Rhythm of the sentence.
Yeah.
You're bridging that difficult gap from translating in your head to actually thinking in the language.
That makes so much sense. It's like learning to drive in an empty parking lot before you get on the highway.
That's a perfect analogy.
You don't have to worry about traffic or navigation, just the mechanics of the car.
Exactly. And both our sources, despite their different vibes, are pushing for that parking lot environment. English Unleashed wants you to use slow, simple words to build safety. Speak English with Aisell wants you to use energy and banter to build confidence. But the mechanism is the same. Verbal output.
Which is the one thing most learners try to avoid. We love reading, we love listening, but speaking out loud is scary.
Because speaking has social consequences. But if you're just talking to your mirror about your toothbrush...
The stakes are zero. No one is judging your accent.
Exactly.
All right, let's lower the stakes and get into the script. The English Unleashed transcript gives us a wildly detailed breakdown of a morning routine.
Wildly detailed.
And when I say detailed, I mean it practically tells you how to breathe.
But that granularity is the point. You need to map the language to these microscopic actions.
It starts at 7 a.m. or 6:03 if you're busy. But Tom, the host of that source, he captures this very specific feeling. Sleeping late results in being tired. It sounds so simple, but how often do we actually verbalize that physical state in a target language?
Rarely. We usually just say, I am awake. But the source pairs the vocabulary with somatic action. Physical feeling. It's not just waking up. It's stretching arms and legs. It's taking a deep breath.
Somatic learning. So you're connecting the word stretch to the actual physical sensation of your muscles extending.
Precisely. The brain builds a stronger neural pathway when a word is attached to a physical sensation. If you say stretch while you are actually stretching, you're much less likely to forget it.
Way less likely than if you just read it on a flashcard.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm with you on the stretching. But then we get to the hygiene section. I never thought I'd be doing a deep dive on dental care. But the source is obsessed. It says, brush slowly and carefully for 2 minutes, and then wash the face with cold water.
And don't just gloss over the cold water detail. That's important.
Why? I mean, is the temperature relevant to grammar or something?
No, but it's relevant to the narrative cause and effect.
Oh, okay.
The source says you watch with cold water specifically to feel awake. This moves you from a list of robot actions to an actual story.
I am washing my face so that I wake up.
Exactly. That that expressing intent is a huge leap in fluency. You aren't just naming things, you're explaining your motivations.
That's a really good catch. It's not a checklist. It's a logic chain. And speaking of logic, the clothing section was interesting.
Yeah.
The source differentiates between jeans and a t-shirt for comfort versus something more formal for meetings.
Again, it's about the why. You aren't just labeling objects like a toddler. This is a shirt. You are explaining the social context. I'm wearing this because I have a meeting. You are describing your relationship with the world around you. This is how you start to feel like a real person in the new language.
And then we get to the most important part of the day. Breakfast.
Of course.
The source gives us a whole menu: toast, eggs, fruit, or the complex route, oatmeal. But I want to talk about the liquids.
The great coffee versus tea debate.
Yes. The source says he drinks coffee most mornings, but sometimes drinks green tea because it feels light and fresh. Now, light and fresh are adjectives I usually see on, like, a shampoo bottle, not a cup of tea in a language lesson.
But it's so evocative. That is exactly what I mean about grounding vocabulary in emotion and sensation. He isn't just drinking a fluid. He's describing the quality of the experience.
It helps you categorize the world in English.
Yes. And notice the mindfulness element the source throws in here too.
The quiet moment.
Yeah. It explicitly mentions taking a moment to enjoy the quiet or listen to birds outside before the chaos of the day starts.
I actually love that. It adds a layer of humanity to it all. You aren't just a machine executing a routine. You're a human being experiencing a morning.
And that emotional connection helps with memory retention. You remember the word quiet better when you associate it with that peaceful feeling of holding a warm mug before you check your emails.
It anchors the vocabulary in a specific mood, which brings us, inevitably, to the tragedy of the day.
The end of the quiet.
The transition to work.
The middle part of the day, as the source ominously calls it.
The source gets brutally real here. It talks about feeling sleepy after lunch.
Yes.
Which honestly is the most relatable sentence in the entire text. I feel like that should be lesson 1 in every textbook.
It is so validating, and the script shifts from the calm morning to the tasks of the workday. Answering emails, 30-minute meetings, typing reports.
Right.
But here is where it gets really tactical for the learner. The source identifies a specific time, 3:00 p.m.
The 3:000 p lump, I know it well. Usually this is when I'm staring at a wall or hunting for a cookie.
And the source acknowledges that. It mentions making tea, eating a biscuit, going for a walk, but it calls this dead time. And the argument is you should use this dead time to hack your learning.
So instead of zoning out, you insert the language.
Exactly.
This is where the concept of shadowing comes in, right? Can we break this down?
Yeah, let's...
Because I think a lot of people hear shadowing and just think it means repeating.
And that is a great distinction to make. Shadowing is absolutely not just repeating. If you just repeat, you might repeat it with your own bad accent and, flat intonation. Shadowing is more musical. You listen to the speaker and you try to copy the melody of the sentence.
So the rise and fall of the pitch, the stress on certain words.
Exactly. The rhythm, The pauses, you play the audio, you pause it, and you try to be an echo. And the instruction in the source is very specific.
What is it?
1 sentence today, 2 sentences tomorrow.
I like that the bar for success is so low. It's not memorize a monologue, it's get 1 sentence right.
It's about habit formation over intensity. We so often fail at language learning because we try to sprint a marathon. We want to be fluent by Friday.
Right.
This approach says, just get the rhythm of 1 sentence right while you eat your 3.0 p.m. biscuit. It's manageable. It fits into the gaps in your life.
It's very forgiving. I also have to mention the organization tip in the source. It suggests keeping the desk clean to think clearly and writing down tasks.
It links the physical environment to mental clarity. I am cleaning my desk because I need to think clearly. Again, you're getting vocabulary to describe your state of mind, not just your furniture.
So we've survived the workday. We've shattered our 1 sentence. Now we hit the 6:00 p.m. shift.
The great decompression.
The source describes the physical act of taking off shoes and sitting down.
The universal sigh of relief.
It really is. But the evening section introduces a crucial learning strategy that I think is actually the most powerful tool in this entire stack.
The daily review.
Yes. From the end of the English Unleashed transcript, the suggestion is that before bed, you don't just pass out. You write down 1 sentence. But not just, I went to work. It has to be about how you feel.
That is the key variable. Look at the examples they give. I finished all my work and feel proud.
Right. And then the other one, which is surprisingly vulnerable, I didn't study much, but we'll try again tomorrow. That second one hit me. Why is that so much better than just writing, I didn't study?
Because I didn't study. It's just a fact. It's cold data. I will try again tomorrow is an attitude.
Okay.
It forces self-reflection in the target language. You're building emotional vocabulary words like proud, disappointed, hopeful, and you're practicing resilience in a new language.
So it effectively turns your diary into a textbook, but a textbook that's actually about you.
And that makes it sticky. You care about your own life more than you care about, John and Mary going to the library in a textbook.
Yeah.
If you write about your pride or your failure, you will remember those words.
So the routine wraps up there. Dinner, reading, calming music, sleep at 10:30. It's a full arc.
Yeah, it's a complete cycle.
I feel like if we only stick to this English Unleashed method, we might get a little bored.
I can see that.
It's very safe. It's very calm. It's very, I eat toast, I am happy.
It is very safe. And that's where our second source, Speak English with Aisell, crashes the party.
Right, because Aisell is basically yelling, stop studying, start speaking.
Yes. If English Unleashed is the scriptwriter sitting quietly in the corner,
then Aisell is the director with the megaphone shouting action.
Exactly. The Aisell source brings in this idea of gamification and role play.
And I think this is the secret sauce that keeps the mundane routine from feeling like a chore.
Absolutely. The source suggests playing the role of a confident speaker. This is a psychological hack. Even if you're alone in your bathroom, you're playing a character who speaks fluent English.
It's that fake it till you make it mindset. The source mentions using catchy questions and friendly banter.
Which sounds a little weird when you're alone.
It does. The guide is for a YouTube host, so it's full of things like, what do you think? And that's a great point. But the hack is to use that on yourself.
So, talk to yourself in the mirror.
Literally. Ask yourself, so did you have a good day? And then answer, yes, I did. Thanks for asking.
It sounds a little crazy, but I get it. It forces your brain to switch between input mode and output mode really rapidly.
You're practicing the conversation dynamic, but without a partner.
Simulating the pressure of a real conversation in a totally safe environment.
It's the call to action mindset. The Aisell source is all about like, subscribe, comment. But if you translate that to real life, it's about engaging with your own reality.
Don't just be a passive observer of your life.
Right. Narrate it. Do a commentary track like you're a YouTuber of your own existence.
And that energy is vital. If you only do the slow, calm description, you might get bored. But if you inject some of that Aisell banter, challenge yourself, make jokes, be dramatic about your burnt toast.
Oh no, the catastrophe of the burnt toast. What will I do now?
Exactly. Now you're improvising. Now you're flowing. You're using the English Unleashed vocabulary toast, breakfast, but with the Aisell delivery.
It really is about combining these two worlds. You need the structure and the vocabulary from the routine.
The specific words for oatmeal and tired.
But you need the attitude from Aisell to actually open your mouth and say them loud enough to hear yourself.
That's the perfect synthesis. You need the script and you need the confidence to perform it.
So let's zoom out and look at the whole package. We've covered the full arc of the day.
We have.
From the 7 a.m. alarm through the 3 p.m. slump, all the way to taking off your shoes and writing that one sentence about your feelings before bed.
And if you look at it as a whole, it reinforces a really liberating idea that I think a lot of learners forget.
Which is?
That you don't need to be interesting to be fluent.
Oh.
You don't need to have a fascinating life to have a fascinating learning experience.
That's actually a huge relief.
Fluency isn't about knowing the rarest, most complicated SAT words. It's not about discussing philosophy. It's about being able to navigate your actual reality.
Your own reality.
It's about describing your toast, your fatigue, your pride, your schedule. If you can do that, you are fluent in your life. And that is the most useful fluency there is.
It makes language learning feel less like climbing a mountain and more like just walking through your house.
Which is something you do every day anyway. The material's already there. You're just adding a soundtrack.
So here is my final thought for everyone listening. The source material mentions something that stuck with me. Even if you are shy, you can do this alone.
Right. No one has to hear you.
It's a private rehearsal for a public performance later.
That's the beauty of it.
So here is the challenge. If you started narrating your life today, literally speaking out loud, I am opening the door, I am pouring the coffee, how long would it take before that foreign language started feeling like your home language?
That is the question.
Okay.
And I suspect it would happen faster than you think.
Yeah.
Because suddenly the language isn't out there in a book anymore.
Right.
It's right here in your kitchen. It becomes part of the furniture.
So try the one sentence today approach. Start with your toothbrush. Start with your toast. Be dramatic about it if you have to, and see what happens to your brain. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Keep practicing.
We'll see you next time.